A strange delivery sent the leaders of the top guild into complete panic. The strongest hunter in the city was destroyed by a masked vigilante. They have no idea that this monster was the boy used as an infinite farm. Locked inside a dungeon, he and his sister were tortured by so-called heroes. But after finding the most twisted loophole in the system, he and his sister started resetting each other to level up faster. Now he holds an insane power that terrifies the elite. He will not stop until he eradicates every single one of his tormentors. So drop a like and let us get right into the video. A creepy castle appears in a red sky filled with lightning and monsters. Inside, a flaming boss calls the team out for a fight. Seiya, the swordsman, immediately pulls out his crackling blade. Stepping up, he gives the signal for the fight to start. With incredible agility, our main character rushes in and slashes several enemies at once. Without thinking twice, he runs straight for the boss. He lets out a loud shout and activates a massive attack buff. On the other side, the redhead smiles with excitement and jumps into battle. That is Kongo Chikara, the guy with pure brute strength. He slams his fist into the ground and shatters the whole floor. That is when the monster raises its hand and creates a massive fire explosion. Fire covers the entire area while the boss attacks without mercy. But our giant ice barrier appears just in time to protect the team. Sagiri the mage laughs when she sees the ice block everything. Catching their breath, the warriors thank her for the help. Things get serious as Toru appears and hands healing potions to both of them. Looking back, the mage asks if the leader is going to deliver the final blow. The silver-haired guy thanks the team and raises his legendary sword. Faced with so much power, the boss goes into complete shock. He unleashes a direct attack that slashes through the air. Haruto, the team leader, finishes the fight with his ultimate skill. The news announces that the Byakuran Guild defeated the Demon King. Everyone celebrates in the streets while watching the news on big screens. It had been about 200 years since the gates opened, and one of the 7 lords has fallen. Journalists praise the achievement and cut straight to the live broadcast. Out on the street, reporter Sato gets ready to interview the team. Haruto smiles and waves to the crowd, going wild with excitement. In front of the cameras, reporters shower the team with endless praise. The hero gives thanks, and a reporter asks how they got so overpowered. They look at each other in silence for a second before answering. Flashing a fake smile, Haruto says their secret is training every single day. Seiya and Kongo hold back their laughter and whisper about the lie. The mage and support join in, making their fake story obvious. Deep down, the leader smiles coldly as he thinks about the real source of power. A dark look on his face shows us something very twisted is hidden there. Inside a filthy dungeon, 2 young people are shown chained up and beaten. The boy there is Shin, stuck miserably inside that terrible hole. Next to him is his sister Minori, trapped with nowhere to run. That is when Haruto walks in with his guild to humiliate them both. He laughs mockingly and thanks them both for making his team so overpowered. Without any warning, the guy stabs Shin with his sword. The attack cuts deep into the kid as he fails to defend himself. The rule states that killing regular people or animals gives 0 experience points. To level up, you have to defeat actual monsters. However, there is a weird exception to this rule with immortals. It turns out Shin possesses divine healing with endless regeneration. Because of this, he heals right back up even after taking deadly hits. By attacking the kid, Haruto earns experience points and levels up instantly. Smiling like a lunatic, he realizes he found an infinite farming method. The 2 siblings can only watch with no way to fight back or escape. Like a bunch of cowards, the rest of the team moves in to attack as well. The redhead starts beating the chained boy relentlessly. Every single punch hits the boy's body with 0 mercy. Sagiri throws fire magic directly at the chained girl. The girl screams in pain as her body constantly tries to heal from the fire. While her healing kicks in, the cowards continue their cruel torture. Toru prepares creepy potions while Seiya readies his sword. The villain forces the girl to swallow a strange, mysterious liquid. Meanwhile, Seiya keeps slashing Shin to gather even more experience points. Several level-up alerts keep popping up on the screen over and over. Haruto wipes the blood off his blade and says it was a great training session. The group laughs with satisfaction and prepares to leave the dungeon. Looking at his laptop, Toru grumbles about not getting all the right data. Seiya makes a gross comment suggesting they mess with the girl. The creepy guy in green walks up to the poor girl with a disturbing look. Seeing that, Haruto steps in and says this is getting boring. The poor girl lies helpless on the ground without even enough strength to cry. Things take a dark turn when Haruto suddenly gets a brand new idea. He mentions that there is still one messed up test left to carry out. Walking up to his ally, he places a hand right on the guy's shoulder. His disgusting idea is to force the girl to have a baby right there in captivity. Toru freezes for a second but quickly likes the sick plan. He gets excited thinking it is genius to create life just to farm more experience points. Asking the mage for help, she agrees to hypnotize the girl right away. Sagiri raises her staff and casts a domination spell on the girl. The spell takes effect immediately and her body becomes completely vulnerable. Without any reaction, the young girl's mind is completely taken over. Stuck inside the trance, she completely stops fighting back. Seiya steps forward laughing while Haruto orders Shin's chains released. The villain says it will be a show watching her brother sit there unable to do anything. Once Shin's chains drop, he falls to the ground able to move again. The cowards move in toward his sister in a disgusting display. Watching that nightmare unfold, Shin panics and screams at them to stop. He crawls across the dirty floor desperately trying to save his sister. Reaching out in pain, the kid tries to stop them no matter what. But a spear of light pierces his hand and pins it to the ground. Haruto taunts him saying holy magic neutralizes his healing ability. Lying in his own blood, the kid vows to curse every single one of them. To shut the kid up, Haruto drives a blade right into his neck. The monster tells him to shut up and watch everything in silence. Pinned down by the blade, Shin lies still, unable to move. Tears stream down his face as he watches that horror completely helpless. After committing the crime, the gang decides to leave for a public event. Walking toward the exit, they talk about feeding the monsters. They pass through the heavy gate asking if the kid's seal is holding up. The heavy iron door slams shut, locking both of them in the dark. Bleeding in the pitch black, the boy cries out in pain, unable to see. That is when Minori crawls over and grabs the forgotten sword. The girl pulls the blade out of her brother's neck to free him, but the kid goes into complete shock when he sees her point the sword at her own chest. Without hesitating, she plunges the blade into her chest out of sheer anger. She falls to the ground in intense pain right after. She then pushes the sword even deeper to end the suffering. All she wants is to reset her body and stop the agony. Moments later, her body goes limp and the blade drops to the side. With a weak look in her eyes, she begs her brother to finish the job. Right then, the kid figures out what her real strategy is. He remembers that the holy magic was blocking his healing. Realizing the spear was pinning his arm, he finds the solution. Our main character tells his sister to cut his arm off. The girl holds the sword tightly ready to take action. In a single strike, she cuts off a limb and frees him from the spear. Remember that immortals come back completely reset when they die. Crying uncontrollably, she asks for forgiveness before going any further. But the pain both of them feel is still unbearable. Determined to fix this, she grabs the blade once again. In tears, she apologizes one more time for what she is about to do. Minori stabs the sword into his chest to force the reset. The strike hits his heart, and a flash of light fills the room. That is when everything changes as an insane power awakens inside the boy. Instantly, a level up notification pops up on the screen. Opening his eyes fully refreshed, he realizes it worked. He is confused and asks why his level suddenly jumped up out of nowhere. Looking right at him, his sister asks if he understands the idea. She explains that killing each other is not in vain. With eyes filled with hatred, she tells him this is how they will get revenge. Shocked by her determination, our main character understands everything. Closing his eyes, he agrees to enter this cycle of revenge. That determination unites both of them with insane focus. Getting up from the ground, the boy agrees to go all the way. From that point on, the duo starts killing each other repeatedly. Doing this over and over, their hatred swallows up all the pain. With each death on both sides, they gain even more levels. Even while bleeding heavily, he smiles feeling his power surge. The girl also holds on strong, gathering insane experience points. Over and over the cycle repeats and their levels skyrocket. Level up alerts keep raining down endlessly in the air. Every single strike brings the duo closer to freedom. The process repeats dozens of times, filling up the screen. Reaching an insane level, their physical strength goes off the charts. Everything is now focused on their plan to destroy the villains. The look in the kid's eyes makes it clear that no one will stop him. Flashback to the past where we see the crazy Teru with the group. He was just the luggage guy, weak and quiet back then. But everyone could already tell there was something twisted about him. The guy had been running cruel experiments on monsters for a long time. 3 years ago, he was already cutting open live beasts to study them. Arriving at night, Haruto shows up and praises his madness. The leader asks if he wants to examine bigger subjects. Walking through the guild house, he leads the crazy guy to a secret room. Inside, he asks the guild members if they want real power. Standing before the group, he states the final choice belongs to everyone. He promises that they will achieve a glory never seen before. Even knowing how vile it is, the group supports the idea. The boss then speaks plainly and asks who is on board. Smiling like lunatics, they all agree to join the scheme. The satisfied leader leans down and opens a secret trapdoor. A hidden staircase appears right beneath the floor. Heading all the way down, the group sees prisoners kept down there. Haruto types in the passcode to unlock the dungeon. Reaching the gate, he says he will show them the poor victims. The team steps inside, staring at the shadows tied up in the dark. Tied to the ground, the two immortal siblings are revealed. Shocked, the members ask for the reason behind all this. Haruto calmly explained that they belong to a rare race. Drawing a sword, he says they are immortals that should be extinct. With that, he lands a clean stab directly into the kid's chest. Roaring in pain, the boy bleeds heavily from the strike. 2 seconds later, the wound snaps shut completely. Impressed, the group still does not understand where the advantage is. Pulling out his phone, the leader shows them the status app. The panel reveals that he is already at level 50. Shocked by that high number, everyone freezes while staring. He explains that farming monsters is way too dangerous. Stabbing the girl, he demonstrates how to earn free experience points. The screen confirms a level up right as he attacks. Seeing this, Teru starts shaking like a maniac. The crazy guy goes wild with joy, realizing how broken it is. Grabbing the girl, he screams that he always wanted to test bodies. Scalpel in hand, he asks how the cut feels. He starts slicing into the girl to see how much she can take. Right then, the psychopath feels a system reward kick in. A level up notification pops up on his phone. He buzzes with excitement when he notices that he leveled up too. With a clean blade, he says he absolutely loved this experiment. He then plans 1,000 cruel tortures to test on her. From a distance, the others think the guy is a bit disturbed, but they do not care, since they view the victims as mere monsters. Everyone starts attacking the duo to level up easily. The boss smirched from the side, seeing he manipulated everyone. In the present day, an airplane lands smoothly at the airport. The guild members walk arrogantly without Taru. Meanwhile, the crazy guy runs frantically toward the building. He runs down the stairs laughing loudly, eager to inflict more torture. Throwing the door open, he shouts that he has returned. But he freezes when he sees our main character killing his own sister. Going into total panic, the crazy guy starts screaming. He demands that he stop messing with his prisoner right now. Terror hits him hard as he figures out the duo's strategy. Confused and clueless, they have no idea what monster they created. Teru stands completely speechless, staring at the prisoners. The duo stands there with renewed bodies overflowing with power. The system explains that taking down stronger enemies gives far more points. That detail caused the duo's experience points to skyrocket insanely. By attacking each other non-stop, they accumulated points at crazy speeds. Because of this, their levels shot up insanely in a matter of minutes. That extreme suffering transformed the duo into genuine monsters. They gained a massive physical evolution thanks to their levels. Our main character now shows off a strong muscular body. Even the girl built a solid physique ready for battle. He backs away in panic, unable to understand how they became so overpowered. Running down the hallway, the coward tries to find an exit. Near the bars, the pathetic guy notices the duo approaching calmly, but he still tries to laugh, claiming that this place is his base. He smashes the protective box with a punch and sets off the emergency alarm. The siblings simply watch as the noise echoes throughout the area. Out of nowhere, a giant fire chimera spawns to attack the two of them. Makoto calmly informs his sister that the time for revenge has arrived. That giant monster roars and breathes fire everywhere. The young girl tries to step up, but our guy asks to handle the fight himself. Laughing in their faces, Teru swears it is impossible to beat the beast. Remaining calm, the kid stares down the giant beast without blinking. Calmly, he watches the flames rush straight toward him. The villain shouts from afar that they will just become monster food. That is when everything shifts, as our main character's eyes fill with bloodlust. He even taunts them, saying he will feed the girl to the beast. The young girl feels absolute disgust hearing that garbage. Placing his arm in front of her, her brother protects her right away. With a deadly glare, he promises to wipe out the bastard. He laughs and tells the kid to try his luck against the beast. The creature charges forward, destroying the ground in its path. A violent swipe with flaming claws strikes the area directly. Dust fills the air as the beast pins the boy against the wall. But moving with insane speed, our main character dodges death. Determined to counterattack, the boy rushes forward. Appearing in the blink of an eye, he shows up behind the villain with a blade. The blade grazes Teru's neck, causing the coward to back away. He activates movement magic and retreats while grumbling in anger. At that moment, the guy resorts to his secret skill. It turns out leveling up unlocks very rare techniques. Teru has the supporter class and masters assassin tricks. His power creates portals to move blades from anywhere. He uses that advantage to fire attacks from multiple angles. The fire beast takes advantage of the opening and attacks from behind. Multiple swords come out of the portals and slice Makoto's body. To make matters worse, the beast's tail traps the guy and holds him fast. Lifted into the air by the creature, he takes massive damage. Next, the monster slams the kid straight into the stone floor. He bursts out laughing and mocks the situation non-stop. He screams that even after leveling up, the kid is still trash. His sister watches everything in despair from the corner of the cell, but our main character gets up easily, regenerating every single wound. Terrified by the sight, the villain orders the beast to swallow the boy. The creature opens its fire-filled mouth wide to finish him off. Charging full force, it tries to bite the guy in one go. That strike hits directly and the crazy guy is already celebrating victory. Thinking he put on a masterclass, he claims no one leaves that place alive. Out of nowhere, the beast stops moving and freezes completely. The beast's head bursts open, releasing green poison. As the monster falls dead, the villain falls into complete despair. Makoto stands up unharmed and displays his new power. Trembling in terror, the support character steps back in disbelief. In a burst of rage, he tries to attack the kid with a knife. Our main character just watches the charge without even moving. Looking down at his own hands, the pathetic guy notices a strange liquid. That acid begins melting his skin, causing terrible pain. He screams in agony while feeling his whole body get eaten away. The poison skill turned Makoto's blood into acid. Without understanding where this came from, the coward falls roaring in pain. It turns out he gained this power after surviving poison himself. Lying on the floor, the guy writhes as the acid burns him. Cutting his own wrist, Makoto lets the blood flow out. He pours that blood straight into the villain's mouth without mercy. With a brutal punch, he smashes the guy's head into the floor. The scoundrel is broken and starts begging for his life. But rage from past suffering only grows inside the boy. Our guy states that no one had any mercy on them back then. Clenching his fist with all his strength, he prepares the final strike. A violent punch crushes the guy's chest on the spot. Nearly dead, the guy cannot even move anymore. Then things flip as Makoto uses healing magic to save the villain. Totally confused, the crazy guy asks why he was healed. The boy answers that simply killing him would not be enough. He reminds him of when he asked what it felt like to be sliced alive. Drawing his blade, he promises to show him real karma. Outside, the guild returns to base during the night. Haruto orders them to call the support to celebrate the victory. The swordsman heads down to the dungeon looking for his teammate. When he gets there, he sees the dead monster and blood across the floor. He looks inside the cell and freezes completely. That sight truly terrifies the swordsman. Marks of destruction cover the place from end to end. The support's body was hanging from the ceiling, broken and destroyed. In panic, the warrior screams for his friend in sheer desperation. Now we meet Kongo, the redhead fighter of the group. He's a rank S fighter with the highest brute strength of all. To the public, he looks like a kind and protective hero, but anyone who knows the guy knows how cruel he actually is. Several fans comment that they wish they had a strong body like his. Others say that such insane talent cannot even be trained. Kongu warns the rookies that a body like his requires insane training. He encourages the recruits to keep staying dedicated. Seeing the giant's impressive size, the trainees promise to do their best. Rumors around the area reveal that the guy has passed level 300, but when alone, the big guy laughs mockingly at the true source of his power. A year ago, the villain was using the immortal boy as a punching bag. Kicking his victim on the ground, he took full advantage of infinite regeneration. That monster actually beat up the siblings just to level up fast. Pulling the girl by her hair, the lunatic laughs at the easy experience points. He throws the poor girl onto the ground with zero mercy. Even though he feels leveling is slow, the coward continues the torture. At that point, the fighter gets annoyed because the kid stops reacting. Lying in a puddle, the boy just stares at his attacker in silence. Angry about that reaction, the crazy guy promises to make him scream in pain. A flaming punch strikes the kid directly in the stomach, right after he hits the girl's chest with no remorse at all. Mocking them completely, the guy starts counting their broken bones. The lunatic demands that they scream louder while raising his flaming fist. That brutal attack makes the young girl let out a desperate cry. Satisfied with the noise, the coward decides to land 100 more strikes. With a wicked look, he demands that they keep entertaining him. Jumping to the present, Seiya enters the gym warning about the tragedy. The swordsman tells him about Teru, leaving the giant in total shock. Running non-stop, the fighter follows his teammate down to the dungeon. Inside that room, the group finds the support's body hanging from the ceiling. When questioned by Haruto, the guy reveals that the prisoners escaped. Thinking about their reputation, the leader says the world cannot now. Still in shock, the big guy panics in front of his friend. He notices that the dead guy's laptop is still turned on the floor. The screen displays the exact recordings made inside the prison. That is when everything shifts, as the video shows Makoto killing the support. Watching the footage, the giant cries in anger and vows to kill the runaways. Without saying a word, Haruto draws his sword near his teammate's body. Startled by this, the allies try to understand what he is going to do. In a swift motion, the hero cuts off the suspended support's head. The body falls to the ground, leaving everyone completely speechless. Grabbing the leader by his clothes, the fighter demands an explanation. The prodigy coldly responds that the guy was already beyond saving. Seiya agrees, stating that keeping him alive would just be more suffering. Even the mage admits that healing magic could not save him from that. Down on his knees, the giant cries, refusing to accept that loss. Punching the stone floor, the guy vows revenge against whoever did it. An insane fury takes over him as he promises to hunt down the prisoners. Deep down, Haruto considers his allies' emotional reaction a total waste of time, but the hero feels a chill and changes his expression immediately. Noticing the shift, the swordsman asks what is going on. Quickly, the leader smiles and pretends that nothing is wrong. Sagiri suggests making up a story that their teammate died as a great hero. With a dark look on his face, Haruto orders a live broadcast for the world. During the night, the two siblings run through the woods together. The girl stumbles from exhaustion, but her brother catches her in time. Seeing that she cannot go on, the boy asks her to rest. Sitting under the trees, both of them celebrate their freedom. Staring at the moon, the young girl breaks down in tears after escaping. Affectionately, her brother hugs her and promises to protect her. Through heavy tears, the girl finally releases all her built-up trauma. Resting there, the young girl falls asleep from pure exhaustion. The kid watches his sister and realizes just how exhausted she was. Looking at the sky, the boy knows he must stay alert to everything. Even though he is extremely sleepy, our guy fights to stay on watch. In the darkness of the woods, suspicious figures rush toward them. Sensing danger, our main character jumps up instantly on high alert. Standing up, the boy realizes those guys came looking for a fight. Heavy killing intent radiates directly from inside the branches. Ensuring his sister's safety, our main character decides to handle it alone. Without making a sound, the kid heads straight toward the attackers. Paying close attention, our main character approaches the enemy's location. Spotting a house in the woods, he observes everything from a treetop. Worried, the young man prepares because a battle is unavoidable. Out of nowhere, a mercenary attacks from behind with a blade. Reacting on reflex, the kid delivers a kick and knocks the guy down. As he hits the ground, the boy realizes he is surrounded by a gang. Focused on the battle, he gets ready to exchange blows. The boy demands to know who sent that crowd of thugs there. Armed to the teeth, the mercenaries close in on his position. Talking among themselves, the thugs confirm the bounty on our main character. The leader states that the kid's head is worth a fortune. Meanwhile, their mage casts a spell boosting her ally's strength. Empowered by magic, the men charge forward to attack. A brute attacks using a massive energized club. That strike lands squarely on our boy's head. Thinking it was easy, the attacker celebrates as the body falls. Healed instantly, the young man grabs the guy's neck right away. The mage is terrified seeing our main character get up without a scratch. Standing back up, the boy asks if they work for the hunters. Faced with complete silence, he analyzes the group's reaction. Ignoring their silence, the young man rushes forward with insane speed. He vanishes from sight and reappears right beneath their leader. A brutal knee strike to the stomach makes the boss spit blood. All the mercenaries freeze in fear in front of that sight. Hitting the boss to the ground, he warns that any enemy will fall. With a terrifying glare, our main character guarantees zero mercy. Two mercenaries try to slice the young man at the exact same time. The blow lands directly and cuts our boy's arm completely off. Thinking he won, the attacker lets out a mocking laugh. Without showing any pain, the boy catches his own arm in midair. Using his severed limb as a weapon, he beats his opponent. In midair, the young man grabs another mercenary's face. That cold look makes it clear that the battle is already won. He slams the guy's head into the ground and ends the fight for good. With only the mage left, the boy steps toward her without hesitating. Terrified out of her mind, the woman readies a lightning spell. A giant lightning bolt fires straight in his direction. That attack hits directly, creating a massive explosion. She smiles, believing that she finished off the kid, but our main character steps out of the smoke without a single scratch. Terrified, she aims her staff again, trying everything she can. Another powerful blast goes off, covering the area in dust. Completely calm, the young man walks through the vapor unharmed. Breathing in the toxic air, the villain starts choking and falls. Our boy steps up close while she loses her remaining strength. With that cold glare, he states that no one leaves this place alive. Minutes later, he puts on the boss's clothes and leaves them behind. Adjusting his hood, he considers the clothes payment for his trouble. He grabs the heavy backpack and runs back to where his sister is. The girl wakes up right then and asks if she ruined his sleep. He reassures the girl, pretending that he simply acquired the gear. Overjoyed, she smiles, seeing that everything turned out fine. The kid then shows her the pile of food and clothes he brought. The girl goes to change her clothes while he packs their baggage. Dressed in new outfits, the duo gets ready to hit the road. Into the night, both of them start walking through the woods. Reaching the top of the hill, they look up at the moon in the sky. Makoto suggests taking a break near the river to catch their breath. Inside a nearby cave, they light a campfire to stay warm. His sister goes wild when she sees how many sweets he brought. Super grateful, she eats everything happily by the fire. He takes the opportunity to check everything he managed to take. He notices that those guys only had basic emergency supplies. Looking at the city in the distance, he decides to gather intel. With his hood covering his face, our main character heads to town. His little sister asks him to be extremely careful around crowds. Now in the crowded city center, the kid walks around well disguised. Finding everything huge, he keeps an eye on the tall buildings. Leaving the market, he notices how ridiculously expensive everything is. But at least he has enough supplies to keep her well fed. Sitting on a park bench, he plans his next move. That guild is filled with corrupt people that need to be brought down. To bring those people down, he will have to find a weakness. That is when everything changes as a giant blimp appears in the sky. The screen broadcasts news that the support hunter was killed. They fake grief and pin the blame entirely on the two siblings. The crowd in the street gets outraged and starts demanding justice. Photos of the siblings' faces appear everywhere. Figuring out the scheme from afar, he understands why he was attacked. On the big screen, the leader fake cries and promises to hunt the boy. People on the street cheer, eager to beat up both siblings. Screaming in rage, everyone demands the siblings' heads. All of this is just theater to clear the guild's own reputation. Looking furiously at the big screen, he accepts the challenge on the spot. With his blood boiling, he vows to destroy that fraud. Days later, the guild building shines bright under the sun. At the meeting, the giant punches the table out of sheer anger. Stressed out, he pins the informant against the wall, demanding answers. The mage says that the duo might have gotten way too strong, and the swordsman worries that their dark secrets will be exposed. Haruto calms the group down, saying the kid's credibility is gone. With a 500 million bounty, no one will listen to them. The buff guy loses it at the mere thought of dropping his revenge. Yelling in fury, he says he will never forgive those two. He promises to make the duo pay a very heavy price. But the mage tells him to shut up because the support was weak. Furious about that, the giant throws a punch toward her. Chains of mana lock the guy's arm down immediately. The woman does not even flinch, saying those kids are not a threat. Haruto claps his hands, laughing to break up the group's argument. He remembers the bloody warning and knows our main character will return. That bastard is certain the duo will fall into his trap. After all, the entire world is hunting them down now. The brute grumbles loudly but accepts the command. The boss closes the matter to focus on the other lords. Leaving the room, the brute goes to rest for the coming attack. Alone in the hallway, he clenches his fist, promising a massacre. Switching locations, we return to our main character's waterfall. Early in the morning, the girl wakes up happy and says good morning. Radiant, she mentions that she slept like an angel last night. He agrees, but warns that they need to change their hideout. The girl worries that someone might recognize their faces. Digging through his backpack, our guy pulls out a trump card. They are cool masks that cover everything without blocking sight. Putting his on, he shows her how to fasten it properly. His sister puts hers on and loves how great it turned out. With everything set, the boy announces he knows where to go. Those portals lead directly to dungeon dimensions. In those places, the laws of the normal world simply do not exist. Checking the map, he found the perfect dungeon to hide in. He displays the swamp dungeon at the top of the hill on screen. And since the place is terrifying, almost no one dares go there. Up there, they find the entrance glowing among the rocks. Both of them stare at that giant portal, ready for combat. Makoto promises her that he will never let go of her hand. Holding hands, they build up courage and step inside together. In the blink of an eye, the magical light pulls the duo inside. Arriving on the other side, they look around nervous and tense. The swamp is disgusting, filled with fog and a creepy sky. He tells her to stay sharp, because danger is everywhere. Because even though it is toxic, a powerful hunter could show up. At that moment, a wrong step makes the roots on the ground move. A creepy carnivorous plant wakes up in the middle of the woods. Out of nowhere, the giant flower delivers a monster strike to his head. Pulling thorns out of his face, he realizes the plant was a trap. Frightened, his sister points ahead, screaming for help. He looks to the side to see what she is pointing at. The kid peers into the bushes, trying to spot the danger. two massive monsters actually emerge from the swamp. Shielding the girl, he tells her to remain calm. One of the beasts charges forward to tear them apart. Fearlessly, the boy arms himself for a counterattack. In a flash, he lands a direct hit on the beast's neck. That fatal strike knocks the monster flat onto the ground. Landing on his feet, our main character sees he is dominating the fight. But things get serious as the other beast tears off his arm. His sister panics watching that happen right before her eyes. He retreats in severe pain, but tries to stay focused on the fight. The white beast strikes again with surreal speed. Our boy notices that the monsters here are absurdly overpowered. Right then, the girl casts magic to give him a power buff. A mystical glow covers the kid's entire body. Feeling the magic, he notices his severed arm moving. That piece on the ground simply begins to float. Focused, our main character controls his own hand from a distance. His arm flies high and delivers a hard blow to the beast. The detached hand smashes the monster's face into the dirt. It roars in pain, completely trapped by the power. Taking advantage of the opening, our boy rushes in to finish it. With a brutal punch, he destroys the beast in one blow. Once the fight ends, the girl runs frantically toward him. Taking a deep breath, our guy smiles and says he is fine. Checking his new arm, he realizes the potential of the magic. He realizes that all of this happened because of his sister. 1 month later, hunters face dragons inside a cave. Carrying a huge rock, the villain Congo appears. That brute hurls the boulder, hitting the dragon in midair. The monster crashes down, leaving everyone with their mouths open. Leaping onto another dragon, Congo grabs the creature by the neck. With his bare hands, he destroys the beast mercilessly. Soon a notification appears showing that he leveled up. Everyone around is impressed by how effortless it looks. By the campfire, the villain grows annoyed for failing to find his targets. A hunter mentions that the bounty is attracting a lot of people. Approaching them, a guy says he heard some hot gossip. He reports that a masked person was seen in a dangerous place. According to the rumor, the mysterious figure was in the poisonous swamp. That guy supposedly killed a giant snake with a single punch. The news shocks everyone since that poison is fatal. Only someone with the villain's strength could pull off something like that. Congo listens to it all, thinking he found a worthy rival. That makes the giant extremely curious to see who it is. Confirming the story, the fight took place 3 days ago. Scared, the guy warns that the swamp is off limits. Without warning, Congo smashes the guy's face with a punch. The impact pins the poor guy to the ground, terrifying the group. Yelling furiously, he orders everyone to head to the swamp immediately. He flashes a creepy smile thinking about the masked guy. Back in the swamp, a green fog covers everything. The two siblings feel the atmosphere grow heavy in the forest. Our main character gets serious, noticing evil energy in the air. Climbing up the trees, the boy spots the entrance. That energy confirms that Congo has just arrived. The girl senses the vibe and starts trembling with fear. Adjusting his mask, the kid says he is going to face the villain. He holds his sister and tells her they are strong now. With a determined look, the boy declares it is time for revenge. The kid asks her not to worry during the fight. Smiling confidently, he reminds her that he is practically immortal. The girl agrees but warns him that the guy is super overpowered. Casting her spell, she wraps her brother in her power. He leaps across the branches until he reaches the entrance. Hidden up high, he observes the guys down below. Using his vision, our main character analyzes their every move. Congo crosses the portal surrounded by his henchmen. Our boy waits for them to move deeper before striking. Seeing a monster nearby, the kid devises a plan. He pricks his own finger and drops blood onto the blade. Our main character touches the beast and casts his new illusion. That technique causes the victim to experience multiple hallucinations. Under hypnosis, the animal begins obeying our boy. Multiple monsters stampede forward, trampling everything. One of the henchmen sees the danger and yells to the boss. Seeing that, Congo thinks it is just a good warm-up. He tells his men to stop shaking and charge forward. The henchmen attack and begin slicing through the monsters. Meanwhile, the villain destroys everything with bare knuckle punches. Clearing the area, he complains that the beasts were weak. A hunter asks for a break, dying from exhaustion. Pissed off by the whining, Congo glares at the guy in hatred. Out of nowhere, the poor guy starts choking and vomiting poison. Other men fall to the ground, drooling toxin as well. Confused by what is happening, the giant watches his crew fall. Covering his nose, he smells the rotten stench in the air. He realizes that the poison did not come from the monsters. Staying alert, the villain tries to find the source of the smell. From high in the trees, the masked figure leaps down behind him. The boy drives a knife strike straight into the monster's neck. Narrowly dodging, Congo notices the mask on his face. He instantly figures out that this is the guy from the rumors. Grabbing the blade with his bare hand, the villain stops it completely. With a wicked grin, he says he caught the kid. Preparing a massive punch, he aims right at his chest. The brute throws the punch and our main character blocks it. Crossing his arms, the kid withstands the heavy impact. He slides back across the mud, leaving the musclehead stunned, with a smirk on his face. The giant even praises the boy's strength. Makoto simply stares back at the guy without taking a single step back. The brute laughs out loud and says he likes his style. Confused, our main character just watches the guy's reaction. The villain states that he only respects strong people and hates the weak. Pointing at his fallen teammates, he calls everyone useless. Right then, the guy extends his hand, offering the boy a partnership. He promises that by joining the guild, the kid will get fame and money. Laughing mockingly, the crazy guy asks if that is not a perfect offer. Our boy stays silent, just staring at him in the middle of the mud. Stepping on his ally's body, the giant shows how much he hates the weak, but he still grumbles that he had faith in those hunters' potential. He kicks the body to the side with total contempt. Seeing that, Makoto realizes how much of a scoundrel this guy is. A quick memory flashes in his mind of his sister being beaten by him. Clenching his fist in rage, the kid asks why he beats up the weak. With a crazy laugh, the giant replies that he does it purely for fun. That disgusting answer causes our main character's rage to explode. He begins remembering past victims begging for mercy. Multiple innocent people cried in despair during his attacks. Laughing at all of it, the guy says every weakling acts the same way. He confesses that he loves seeing the terrified look on people's faces. That monster goes crazy with joy just remembering that despair. With a sadistic look, the guy repeats that he found it all fun. Then things shift as Makoto loses his patience and leaps with a flying punch. The villain blocks the strike with one hand and even praises the attack. Pulling his arm back, the big guy prepares for a counterattack, launching a brutal punch directly toward the boy. Dodging underneath, the kid tries to slash him with his knife. Sliding backward, the villain praises our boy's agility. Underneath his mask, Makoto realizes this guy is a total monster. Charging all his power, the giant rushes forward at full speed. The crazy guy unleashes a heavy impact strike against the boy. That attack hits his chest directly, creating an explosion. The blow throws our guy far away and shatters the entire ground. Falling into the mud, he groans in pain from the absurd punch. He realizes that was the heaviest strike he has ever taken. Stepping out of the dust, the villain is shocked to see the boy standing, but mocking him, he claims he only used 30% of his strength. Impressed, our main character realizes the surreal level of this monster. The giant notices the kid's knife and tells him to use whatever he wants. Full of confidence, the guy guarantees he can tank any attack. Rushing forward fast, the boy attempts another blade attack. He drives the knife straight into the villain's chest without hesitation. The blade simply shatters against the brute's tough skin. Laughing at the sight, the guy says an ordinary knife does nothing. The villain says right to his face that the kid will never win this fight. Annoyed, Makoto throws a sequence of punches, but they have no effect. Setting up a kick, the big guy prepares to deliver a devastating strike. A brutal kick hits our boy's stomach directly. This launches the kid far away, while the villain already celebrates. Falling into the swamp's acidic water, our guy sinks into toxic mist. The musclehead complains that he went too hard and threw the poor kid in. Thinking the kid turned to dust in the acid, he simply turns around. Surprisingly, a blade ends up stabbed right into the big guy's back. Roaring in pain, the guy realizes the weapon was poisoned. Right behind him, the villain sees the boy emerge from the water unhurt. The guy is in shock, noticing that the acid does nothing to our main character. Pushing his body, the villain burns off the internal poison and readies himself. With blind rage, he unleashes a rapid barrage of punches on the boy. A relentless rain of heavy blows collapses entirely onto the kid. Gathering all his power, the crazy guy prepares a final strike. With that, a brutal punch slams the ground, creating a gigantic blast. Flames and dust obliterate everything surrounding the swamp. A massive crater opens up right there from that violent impact. Inside the smoke, our guy remains standing with only his cloak torn up. The wind clears the vapor, revealing the kid staring down the giant. Suddenly, his mask drops to the ground, revealing his unmasked face. Seeing his face, the big guy starts laughing uncontrollably. The villain points his finger, celebrating that he found the right guy. With an unmasked face and a look of pure hatred, Makoto glared at him. That monster mocks him, saying immortality was his secret all along. Pointing his finger, he says he dreamed of avenging his dead friend. He clenches his fists, stating there is zero chance of a deal. With bloodthirst in his eyes, he promises to finish off the kid right there. Our main character hears the threat and asks if that was really all. Focused with anger, the young man promises to do far worse to him. Both of them stare each other down, ready to destroy everything around. He rushes forward in a sprint, initiating the exchange of blows. A storm of impacts erupts on the ground as the battle rages. Makoto takes a cut on his arm but does not flinch and keeps pushing. Shockwaves explode across the entire area with every punch exchanged. The villain throws a high kick, attempting to hit the boy's head. Dodging the kick, our guy attempts a counterattack at full speed. Two fists collide, making the ground shake violently in the swamp. Landing in a crouch, the giant readies himself for the next rush, but Makoto charges through the vapor and appears right in his face. A flying punch from the kid connects cleanly on the guy's face. Though the strike lands clean, the villain's head does not even move. Smiling mockingly, the crazy guy asks if that was all of his strength. He clenches his own fist, saying he will now show him how to hit. A punch covered in flames explodes right on our main character's face. That blow sends the kid flying, scraping along the ground. The giant cheers for the hit, saying that is how you land a punch. But out of nowhere, the villain notices something strange when looking at the boy. Seeing his reaction, the guy gets slightly creeped out by our main character. The boy rises from the dirt, trembling and holding his shoulder. Pointing his finger, the villain bursts out laughing, thinking it is fear. The giant claims that the boy's fear is engraved into his own body. Crawling backward, the kid tries to get away while the other mocks him. Multiple old traumas flash quickly through his head. That musclehead asks if he remembers the terror he felt getting beaten. Taking slow steps, the brute approaches with a sinister smile. But without anyone seeing, the boy's severed arm is floating behind. Staring intently, the kid commands that limb to fly right away. That detached arm shoots like a missile straight at the giant's back. It pierces right through the guy's shoulder, giving him no time to react. With that, the young man realizes his trap worked perfectly. Pulling the limb out of his shoulder, the brute laughs at the attempt. With a heavy kick, the villain hits our guy's stomach directly. The impact launches the boy far away, making him spit blood. Curious, the guy asks how the kid got so strong so fast. On the ground, the boy can only groan in pain without speaking. He states he will keep beating him until he opens his mouth. Stepping on the boy, the giant guesses that his sister is nearby. Mentioning the girl causes our main character to go wild with rage. That scoundrel promises to do terrible things to the girl. He remembered the past abuses and started laughing, imagining the scene. Gritting his teeth, our main character's rage reaches its absolute limit. Then things shift as a deep cut slashes across the villain's back. Confused, the giant notices that the boy had freed himself earlier. That makes him realize he needs to restrain the kid immediately. A pool of blood remains in the spot where he had fallen. Appearing behind his opponent, our guy shows up completely healed. The boy displays a brand new power as insane energy racks around him. The villain is startled seeing that bizarre regeneration. He moves so fast that he vanishes from his sight. Appearing right in front of the giant, the young man throws a combo. Multiple insane punches pepper the brute's body. Feeling the blows, the guy backs up, surprised by the speed. Covered in flames, the villain claims that brute force wins. He tears off our main character's arm again with a brutal strike. Feeling the impact, the young man falls back from the intense pain. The giant mocks him, asking how much longer he can last. Kneeling on the ground, the boy bleeds, trying to stay upright. Mocking this, the villain calls the kid completely useless. But underneath his hood, a dark smile forms on our main character. Annoyed by that smile, the brute asks what is so funny. Our boy only thinks about how stupid this villain is. Revealing the trap, all of his severed limbs float in the air. Filled with bloodlust, the young man commands every part to attack. Dozens of arms fly together, driving right into the giant's body. The villain tries to hold his ground, shouting that he will not lose. Tensing his muscles, he attempts to resist the overwhelming pressure. Impressed by the weight, the giant notices that the strength increased. For the boy, his past trauma turned into pure hatred. All of that darkness feeds his burning desire for revenge. A massive explosion of dark energy blasts the giant. That brutal impact tears off the fighter's arm right on the spot. Looking at the finished villain, Makoto proposes a test of strength. Overcome with pain, the brute trembles seeing his arm on the ground. He screams like a lunatic, promising to slice the kid to pieces. Charging forward full force, the guy comes with his remaining fist in flames. Calmly, our main character gives a command to focus his power. All the darkness and floating limbs merge into his arm. A giant fist of dark aura forms around his hand. That dark blow clashes head-on against the villain's flames. That is when everything changes as the impact crushes the giant's attack. As he flies far back, the guy hears the kid mocking his strength. Kneeling on the ground, the brute trembles, feeling his defeat. Our boy promises to engrave this pain into the villain's body. 1 week later, the guild building sits under a bright sun. Walking down the hallway, Haruto and Seiya talk about the lordy. The swordsman remembers their dead friend and says to give their best. With a calm look, the leader smiles and asks who that guy was. Surprised by his words, the swordsman lets out an awkward laugh. He keeps a serious face, pretending he forgot about his teammate. Bursting into laughter, the young man says he was just joking. Relieved, the swordsman asks him not to joke about serious matters. Changing the subject, the guy mentions that the giant went missing for days. The leader calms his ally, saying he is probably out hunting, assuring him that he will return soon with both prisoners in tow. The swordsman gives an evil smile, eager to torture them. At that moment, a staff member comes running down the hallway yelling. Arriving out of breath, the man warns them about a strange delivery. Bothered by the odor, he says the box is suspicious. Smelling the odor in the air, both hunters go check it out up close. Entering the room, they see the mage analyzing the box on the table. The woman points to the box, warning that this is serious. Looking inside, the swordsman goes into shock from what he sees. Inside the box lies the giant's severed arm with his tattoo. Everyone remains silent, trying to process that sight. Analyzing the limb with magic, the woman confirms the flesh. The mage confirms that the arm really belongs to their missing teammate. She can barely believe that someone managed to defeat that monster. The leader deduces that they severed it to send a message. To him, only the immortal siblings would have a motive like that. But the swordsman doubts that they got strong so quickly. Haruto reminds him that the other defeated guy was already very strong, explaining that this beatdown proves the duo's leap in power. Even so, the swordsman refuses to accept that evolution. Looking straight at him, the leader asks how their guild leveled up. Memories show the group killing the immortals repeatedly. Right then, he understands that killing strong guys gives far more points. Memories reveal the siblings killing each other to level up non-stop. The leader concludes that they farmed until becoming overpowered. Terrified, the hunters realize the monstrosity they created. The mage tries to calm everyone down so no one panics. Worried, the guy puts his hand on his head, not knowing what to do. The mage casts a spell to calm him and suggests resting. Thanking her for the help, the swordsman goes to his room to sleep. Haruto asks her to leave him alone in the room for a while. Without saying anything, the young woman simply leaves the room. The leader approaches the box with the severed arm alone. He mocks the severed arm, finding the entire scene ridiculous. Disgusted, he throws the limb into the trash, calling it a mere illusion. He even acknowledges the siblings' feat, but considers it foolish. Stepping down hard, the guy crushes an eyeball inside the box. That eyeball contains spy magic and pops instantly. Back in the forest, our guy covers his eye as his radar fails. Worried about his sister, the kid decides to return to the cave. He also takes advantage of the trip to buy food in town. He also enchants their clothes to fix themselves automatically. In his backpack, he even brought stuffed toys as a gift for the girl. Leaping across rooftops, he moves fast in the middle of the night. But along the way, he sees hunters chasing after someone. Looking from above, our boy notices that the victim is a woman. The hooded woman runs desperately, trying to escape. Thinking that area belongs to the guild, he tries not to get involved. The guys corner her inside a dead-end alley. With nowhere to go, she leans against the wall, terrified. They close in to grab her without an ounce of mercy. That is when everything shifts as Makoto drops from above, saying he hates cowards. Surprised by the ambush, one hunter cannot even react. With a heavy punch, our main character knocks the first guy out. Right after he hits the second one in the blink of an eye, he ensures the woman's safety and tells her to run away. Looking closely at her face, the kid freezes instantly. Underneath her hood, he is shocked by who she turns out to be. Back in the swamp, Minori waits for her brother under the moon. Seeing someone arrive, the girl runs happily to hug him. But as she gets closer, she notices someone on his back. Our guy sets the person on the ground, leaving his sister curious. She stares in shock, unable to understand who that woman is. Pulling back the hood, Makoto reveals the girl's face. He tells his sister to look closely at her face. The girl realizes that woman is an exact copy of herself. In total shock, she can barely believe what she is seeing. Files reveal that swordsman Seiya from the team. He is rank S and famous for his absurd swordsmanship. Popular with girls, he acts like a noble hero in public. But the truth about him is extremely twisted. Past scenes show him in a pool surrounded by women. Smiling with a cup in hand, he pretends to be a nice guy. Out of nowhere, the scoundrel attacks one of the girls for no reason. He demonstrates how sadistic he is by attacking innocent people. Back in the cell, he used Minori's power just to beat her, licking his blade. The crazy guy loved knowing she could not die. The guy sliced into her repeatedly just to hear her screams of pain. He laughed at the situation and confessed that he loved hurting girls. Trapped in the chains, Makoto screamed at him to stop. Angry about that, the villain slashed the kid's neck. The coward ordered him to shut up and keep watching. Inside his sick mind, all of that was just fun. He yanked the girl by her chains, demanding more screams. Makoto roared in rage, unable to do anything to help her. Now, Seiya walks down the hallway whistling like it is nothing. He sees Haruto entering a room filled with warning signs. The crazy guy remembers that place was forbidden to everyone. Following the guys, he decides to take a look at the secret. Haruto senses his presence and tells him not to spy. Hiding it with a laugh, he claims he was just curious. The leader grants him entry and invites him to see the project. The three step into a laboratory filled with massive tubes. Looking around, the guy is shocked by what he finds. Inside one tube, there is a perfect clone of Minori. The leader explains that he created the clone to test levels. They wanted to clone her to farm points for the guild. Using advanced technology, they created multiple clones. The creep stares at the clone inside the water with a gross look. Haruto warns him that their powers fail very quickly. Since they yield no experience points, they decided to throw them out. The villain asks if they are really going to discard all of them. He confirms that he only wants the original one anyway. Smiling like a lunatic, he approaches the tubes. He points to the capsules and asks to keep the clones. The guy permits it, warning that they do not even have feelings. He reminds him that they are just broken dolls that obey orders. Seiya laughs with satisfaction, saying that is perfect for him. Curious, the other guy asks if he likes those replicas. The psychopath responds that his desire is only for the girl. He only wants to have complete control of the girl in his hands. Licking his lips, he says she belongs only to him. Haruto watches all of that, seeing how sick the guy really is. Silently, he concludes that the guy is absolute human trash. Inside the cave, the rescued clone begins telling them everything. Both siblings listen in shock to every single detail. She opens up on the ground while Minori calms down. The girl thanks her brother for bringing the clone back alive. Makoto asks if the other clones are still with the villain. The clone confirms that about 12 of them are trapped there. Our main character finds it strange that she has feelings when others do not. Sadly, the girl says she cannot even explain the reason why. She saw the wanted poster of the two on television. Upon seeing their photo, she felt a strong warmth in her chest. Feeling anger toward the villain, she built up courage and fled the mansion. The girl begs both of them to save the remaining clones. That is when our main character sees an opportunity to get revenge.